Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So this morning, let's talk about this massive Bitcoin move that's imminent because $400 million went missing. Let's talk about it. Also, what's going on with XRP? I have a crazy wild prediction to share with you guys. So let's do this. Welcome. Market bell is about to ring any second now. And today, Bitcoin is looking as strong as yesterday. We're looking to pass 30,000 once again, that magical number. The bears are making it hard. They're trying their hardest to keep Bitcoin below 30,000, but it's just a matter of time, guys. Just a matter of time before we surpass it and we don't look back ever again. Today, U.S. market, kind of mixed. I think U.S. market, everyone's looking at what's going to happen on Thursday, which, again, we're going to get another CPI reading, inflation reading, so people are anxious about that. Are we going to see inflation tick upwards? It's anticipated we will. We'll see CPI go from 3 to 3.3%, but maybe it doesn't, and maybe it continues to go down. So today and tomorrow, probably mixed sideways movement, but not for Bitcoin, though. Not for Bitcoin, so that's good. But I did see something else from across the world, and that is this. China is now going into deflation, okay? And this is a naughty thing. Deflation is the opposite of inflation. And many of you guys may think, well, that's good, right? Isn't the U.S. in deflation too? No. There's a difference between disinflation and deflation. Disinflation is when, yes, the Fed and central banks, does their things in terms of rate hikes and all this other stuff that they do to try to bring inflation down. Deflation is when prices come down because no one is buying anything anymore. Okay, that is horrible. That means even if China starts their stimulus or cuts rates or whatever, giving free loans out, if consumers and businesses are not spending at all, right, that leads to deflation. And according to their economic data, that's exactly what's happening right now. So they're a little concerned because no one wants to go through what Japan went through, considered the lost decades, where Japan went through 2 decades of basically negative economic growth. And that's really bad. Okay, so other countries like the U.S., we're nowhere close to deflation. We're seeing disinflation. We are seeing some prices come down, right? But consumer spending is still healthy. We see that with our, weekly measurements, basically consumer sentiment and home sales and new, manufacturing data and all that stuff. We're in the U.S., we don't have a problem with spending, but in Asia, that tends to be a problem. So we'll have to see what China does, because if they continue to go into deflation mode, then they have to kick up their money printer. They have to print more money, and they have to start cutting rates, which will, of course, affect the Chinese yuan and affect the dollar and affect bonds rates and all these things. We don't know what that's going to lead to. But right now, looking at the U.S. dollar at 102. Unfortunately, like a few weeks ago, we were below 100. We want to see the dollar index below 100. Okay, unfortunately, it climbed up a little bit, but no movement today, but just something to pay attention to, right? But going back to Bitcoin, what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, we know that recently Bitcoin got a jolt due to a couple things. Number one, downgrade of banks. Okay, that's great. And 2, spot Bitcoin ETF enthusiasm, right? Yesterday, Mike Novogratz of Galaxy Digital shared some inside information, what he heard from Invesco and BlackRock. And from both sides, they believe it's not a matter of when, but if. And that if is 4 to 6 months. So roughly around December to February, we will get the very first Bitcoin spot ETF approved. And not only that, we're probably going to get a couple of them or a dozen of them approved at the same time, because if you approve one, what reason do you have to deny others, right? So obviously, this has also a lot of people very excited about what's coming, and it's really all due to BlackRock. And I'm not saying BlackRock getting into Bitcoin is actually a good thing long term. Long term is actually probably bad, but short term, it is making a lot of people pay attention. It's causing a whole lot of FOMO and driving a lot of interest in this space, right? So they are definitely having an effect. But in the meantime, what I noticed today is if you look at the exchange reserves, we know exchange reserves continue to go down, right? But periodically, you get these massive withdrawals, okay? And yesterday, we saw 400 million gone, withdrawn. No one knows where it's going. You could guess, I could guess, probably to some custodian service, right? Or into a self-custody wallet. But bottom line is this: someone took out $400 million worth of Bitcoin, right? Is it going to an institution? Is it going to another business? Is it going to BlackRock itself? We don't know. Periodically, you see these massive withdrawals, and it's the third largest within this year. But you could see around May timeframe and July timeframe, we also saw massive withdrawals. This is happening behind the scenes. When these guys buy 400 million or 800 million or a billion, whatever it may be, it's all done behind the scenes, OTC market. So it doesn't affect Bitcoin's price. There's no immediate effect to Bitcoin's price. But overall, the supply is still diminishing. There's only so many Bitcoins to go around. Doesn't matter if it's OTC sale or exchange sale. There's just that bucket of Bitcoin. And if you start taking away from it, there's less of it out there, right? That's why we continue to see reserves drop, and it keeps on dropping. Not just with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with everything else. Ethereum is actually back to 2016 levels in terms of exchange reserves. Bitcoin is back to 2017 levels, and it can continue to keep going. We're going to see like very, very little Bitcoin on the exchanges. But yeah, that happened yesterday. Also, leverage traders, futures traders, options traders, they're opening up their open interest, their longs, they're throwing their longs. Yesterday, I also covered someone threw a massive long at 29,000. It was like over $100 million. Okay. What do they know? I don't know. Or maybe they're just thinking this is a great time to be buying Bitcoin, right? Or going long on Bitcoin. And I don't disagree. I don't necessarily disagree. This is a great time to be in Bitcoin. If you're looking at technicals like Bollinger Bands, I've mentioned this already, and I will mention it again. If you look at Bollinger Band on Bitcoin, there's a massive squeeze going on. We haven't seen this kind of squeeze in a very, 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 very long time. In fact, the last time the band has been this squeezed was back in 2020, before, when Bitcoin was at 10,000, before it went up to $64,000, right? That's the kind of squeeze we're seeing right now. So that imminent move is around the corner. And you compile that with everything else, well, who knows where this is going to go, right? But we're seeing it from a technical standpoint, from a fundamental standpoint. I mean, every time I look at these charts, number of addresses holding 0.1 Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin, all-time high, okay? You can't tell me that these mean nothing. They absolutely do mean something. Again, why does the exchange reserves keep going down? Why do people buy OTC 400 million worth, right? Because people want to accumulate, and even the retail investors are accumulating, DCAing, and continue to hold. That's why these address counts keeps on going up. And if you measure the length of inactivity for Bitcoins too, like under 1 year or under 2 years, under 5 years, under 7 years, they're all all-time highs too. So right now it's definitely accumulation stage. A lot of people are accumulating. A lot of new people are coming in and accumulating. A whole lot accumulating right now, right? So imminent move is coming. So that's Bitcoin. I did notice a little bit of XRP news. Gemini is strangely enough, they're posting this for themselves, meaning the intern patiently waiting for Gemini to list XRP from Gemini's account. It's kind of funny. If you're going to list, just list. Coinbase already relisted, right? A lot of major exchanges already relisted, so I'm not sure why Gemini is taking so long. I don't know. Maybe the New York Department of Financial Services is making it harder. I don't know, but they're teasing it. XRP has been a little stagnant recently, coming back down today, actually up pretty good. Their transaction count over 1 million daily. That's actually higher than Ethereum and Bitcoin. So Ethereum definitely has a lot of activity going on right now. And I know XRP Army wants to know, well, where is XRP heading? Right now, XRP is at 66 cents, which is pretty good. Close to back up to 70 cents. But I saw this. One analyst thinks that if it could break this one Fibonacci level, which is the 78.6 Fibonacci level, which is $1.30, so roughly double. If it can break through that, XRP can hit $21 by the end of 2025, which would be the end of the next parabolic run. So you do the math, $21 from 60 something cents right now. That's like 30x. That's like 35x. That's a lot. That's a lot. Can it happen? I don't know. That would throw XRP. I don't know. That throw it into the trillions. So no, would it? No. It would throw it into like over $1 trillion. So I don't know. I guess it could happen. But is it likely? I don't think so. But XRP Army does. And if you have a large group of individuals that think it can happen and continue to hold on DCA, maybe it will happen. So I'll leave it at that. All right. That is pretty much it overall today. U.S. markets mixed. It's probably going to be mixed until tomorrow, until we get the inflation data. But otherwise, Bitcoin is strong and entire market, crypto market is strong today. So I'll take it. We'll take it. All right, let's do some Q&A. People are not believing the $21 mark, but it's a better prediction than $589. Okay, so you gotta give it to whoever said that. All right, let's see if I missed anything. I don't think George is a morning person. I am most definitely not a morning person. If I had my choice, I would not be waking up this early to be doing my show this early, but this is a good time to be doing it. George, can anyone buy OTC? Yes. Yes. You convince someone to sell you some Bitcoin, that's OTC market, man. I mean, OTC sounds complicated, but basically it's a big sell or purchase from one individual to another, or it could be one company to another. That's what an OTC sale is. So, I mean, Coinbase does OTC sales. Gemini does too. A lot of these big companies, if they're like, they go to Coinbase like, hey, I want to buy $1 billion of the Bitcoin, you know, from their own reserves, will say, okay, we'll sell you $1 billion dollars worth, and it's this amount, right? They want to make sure these large companies, institutions want to make sure they get the exact number they're promised. Because if they start buying $1 billion on, you know, on the open market, of course, prices start rising up, fluctuate, they end up getting less. So it makes sense these guys want to buy OTC, right? Kelly says, I need a lunchtime show. Well, I do have the clips channel, right? My clips channel is actually doing very well. Shorter clips, pull from my live streams. And I have 2 shows on the clips channel that releases every day. And those are timed, one around the noon time and one in the afternoon. So make sure you check those out too. When will Michael Saylor sell his BTCs? Probably never, ever. I think I don't know, if I was to speculate, I would think MicroStrategy's BTC will be held forever. His own personal stash will probably go to MicroStrategy if he was going to pass away. I don't know if he has any kids. If he has any kids, maybe he'll pass it on, but I think he just go give it to MicroStrategy. Looking at today, Cardano is not doing that well. Solana continues to do well, 7%. XRP is doing very well, 6%. So pretty good. Polygon up 3%. Sheeb almost 10%. I talked about Sheeb last night. Whoop, now it went down to 7%. But I did talk about Sheeb last night. A lot of hype around Shibarium that's coming out next week. You got Aptos up 70% today. No idea why. Didn't hear anything about Aptos. Any other big movers today? Render still doing pretty well. Pepe up 13%. Still below 500 million, but you know, a lot of people do like Pepe. You know, people always ask me, what's going on with Pepe? Nothing, absolutely nothing. It's a coin that has nothing going on, so there's like nothing to talk about. It's either it's going up or it's going down. I mean, there's no development, no future roadmap, nothing like that. You can't really talk about anything with Pepe, but I guess people like the fact that it's up today. Aptos had a deal with Microsoft. Okay. I missed that. I didn't see that anywhere, so that makes sense. Pepe literally has Gary Gensler as their mascot. I see what you did there. Quite funny. How far do you think BTC dominance could go if a SPY ETF is approved? I think 60% realistic. I think that could be realistic. You know, we were as high as 50% already, right? Can we see another 10% if spot Bitcoin ETF is approved? Maybe. I think that could be realistic. With the amount of money coming in to Bitcoin, yeah, that could happen. But can it go as high as before, like the high 70s or 80s or 90s? I would say probably not. That would be pretty hard to go back to like 70s or 80s. I just don't see that. I mean, unless there's like trillions flowing into Bitcoin after spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved, or BlackRock itself starts throwing trillions into Bitcoin, then of course anything can happen. But yeah, I think 60% is reasonable. Does it seem like Eduardo asking? Does it seem like Polygon is price suppressed? Um, yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I don't think there's any artificial suppressing, but Polygon definitely I feel like it's undervalued. One of my favorite L1s. Yeah, so I think it's just a matter of time, right? Matter of time before people realize that what a bargain it is. Is Shiba worth a buy? Well, it's one of those things. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Possibly, right? It is running up now. Shibarium is coming out, right? But does that mean it's going to keep going, or is it going to dump after Shibarium is out, right? We don't know. I do know this. In the next bull run, in the next parabolic phase, I should say, Shiba is going to go much higher. They will go back to their previous high and break it. So there's no doubt about it, right? So if you're just DCAing to Shiba, adding to your bag, I do think it's going to do really well in 2024 and 2025, right? But in the meantime, short term, I don't know. Me personally, I would not be adding ahead of Shibarium because it might dump afterwards. With 10K, with a 10K portfolio in altcoins, not including ETH, do you think it could reach 100K during the peak of next bull market? Yes, definitely. Very, very, very likely. But again, kind of depends on which ones you choose. If you have 10K worth of microcaps, okay, the chance of that happening is less because a lot of them may just falter or die and they never have that explosiveness. So you got to make sure that you're populating with the right coins, I guess. Don't go too many people go too greedy with small caps and micro caps. You got to balance the portfolio out. There's nothing wrong with mid caps, nothing wrong with these big caps. These big caps, most of them have to go 10x just to get back to their previous high. So just think about that. Do you have videos on your favorite alts going the next bull run? No. This is not the time to be doing one either. It's too early, and not many people pay attention to alts. When the environment is better, maybe when at the end of the year, when Bitcoin is like 40 or 50,000 and alts are higher, that maybe, but like right now, not the right time for it. Jack Daniels, last 10 years, BTC versus top 250 alts. BTC performed better. I just read about it. Do you know why, though? Because alts were not around 10 years ago. That's why. But yeah, if you look at since the beginning till now, Bitcoin has outperformed everything. Everything on the planet. Okay, it went up millions of percents. But, all these alts, most of them came out in like 2017, 2018. A lot of these came out in 2022, so it just hasn't been around as long. Do you think it'll be hard to outperform BTC in the next bull run? No. No, I don't. Every single cycle, especially towards the end, okay, alts just blow past Bitcoin in terms of performance. if it was really hard to beat Bitcoin's performance every cycle, then the clear answer is just go 100% in Bitcoin, right? But that's just not the case. Like, for example, Ethereum. Ethereum is a clear example. Even going back to March of 2020 when we had the pandemic crash, Bitcoin was at 3,000 or 3,800. Ethereum was under 100. So just look at the gains since March of 2020, right? So alts do perform better than Bitcoin, especially in bull runs, not in crypto winter. Okay, but right now we're definitely seeing a lot of strength in Bitcoin because of all the things that's going on, macro stuff, and also spot Bitcoin ETF and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to change, but the second half of the parabolic run, so probably the end of 2024 into 2025, I think alts will have their day and really ramp up. Is XRP considered an altcoin? Yes. Anything that's not Bitcoin is considered an altcoin. Tommy, Jordan, are you aware head of blockchain for FedEx, Microsoft, Activision, and a lot more company will be at Rare Evo hosted by Charles Hoskinson? Are you? Yes and no. Because you just named the lineup that's going to Toronto next week, right? But yeah, I also saw, or maybe I'm thinking about something else. Yeah, I think you're right about Rare Evo. I'm getting confused. Toronto actually doesn't have a lot of good speakers, but yes, I am aware, Tommy. But are you saying that because you want me to go, or are you just like asking the question? Fida. Bonafide. I have no idea what. Yeah, 10 million market cap. No idea who they are, Nick. What happened to FedNow? Did it launch? I'm pretty sure FedNow launched. I'm pretty sure it launched. It's the roadmap was like it was gonna launch for like 40 banks or something. See how it goes, and then to go launch it for thousands of banks. So I'm pretty sure they already did launch. P10, hello, welcome. Can we watch a video on the Vegas part? It's still being worked on. But yes, once it's done. Man, I wish we had more videos. We had, we borrowed this camera from Sin City Crypto, and one of my buddies was filming, and he filmed like all this stuff, and somehow it got lost. So we don't have as many videos as, or clips of videos, that we thought we had. So yeah, but we'll still try to make something good. What do you think about algo long term? I'm more neutral on them at this point. Which project do you like more, Sol or Atom? I like Atom more, but I don't know. Atom's token economy isn't the greatest, so there's a reason why Sol is higher at this point. And in the next bull run, which will do better, I don't know. It could still be Sol, but I think Cosmos is underrated as well. Is it true that Elon Musk wants to have the biggest digital market on X? Yes. He said he wants to make X into the biggest company on Earth. I think he said company or financial company. One of the two. He wants to make it the biggest on the planet. He wants to make it into like a super app, which is very popular in Asia. Asia with their super apps, like, I don't even know what they're called. I think WhatsApp could be one of them. but you could do everything within them. You could pay your bills. You could buy, buy a movie ticket. You can do ride sharing. I mean, you can do everything with it. You can make payments and stuff like that. So he wants to make X into a super app, the greatest super app there is. Coinbase, not a lot of movement today. Mara is doing okay today. Let's see. Tesla itself. Tesla's not doing that good today. Tesla CFO just left. Whenever a CFO leaves, it's not good. This guy right here, Zachary Kirkhorn, he's leaving. It's funny that CNBC actually lists their weird made-up titles, like Techno King of Tesla, and Master of Coin. Hi, George. Where I live, we have 33% tax if I take profit from cryptocurrency. It's 7% if I hold it at least a year. What to do when I DCA monthly? Well, just keep DCAing, right? And when you need to sell. I mean, when you declare on your taxes, you just do first in, first out, right? So when you're selling, you're just basically declaring you're selling the ones that you bought over a year ago, right? So when you do your taxes, you could specify first in, first out, or first in, last out, or last in, first out. There's many ways to specify when you're calculating your taxes, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, you're talking about long-term profits versus short-term gains. It's the same thing in the U.S. Just talk to your CPA about it. I'm going 90% BTC, 10% microcaps. Thoughts? There's nothing wrong with that. You could go 100% BTC, but you're going to be jealous when XRP hits $21 and ETH hits 15,000, and a lot of these others will be moving quite quickly toward the end. But it's okay. Bitcoin will still do very well by itself. All right. Let's conclude. Overall, Bitcoin is still looking to break through 30,000 and stay above. We got a lot of good reasons, a lot of hope, a lot of things to look forward to. And many people are taking advantage. We just had $400 million withdrawn from the exchanges. That's massive, massive, right? So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care.